these. I will be sending this out, so you don't have to memorize it. But I would highly encourage, sharing with people who maybe can't come to a 3-hour meeting, but they want to know what's in the language, what does it mean, etc. These meetings are about an hour long. Have them coming up. We're scheduled to go to MAC in April, and we've done a previous presentation to MAC, but we'll be going back with kind of the final product, and then also your city council at some point. For these, we're going to be creating some different materials. So one is the language that we've been working on. Another is a language cover sheet, which includes how do you read this document, that bold and bracketed stuff. The process that we went through to get here, what are some of the key lessons that were learned going back a couple of years and bringing forward. We've got kind of a draft of that worked out. We'll be really working on that with the city managers and their city engineer folks, because the idea is that that's a cover for elected officials to be able to read in the event that they don't dig into the language itself. They have a cover of what's there and know what they can ask you as their staff. We're going to be preparing a presentation at the direction of the tri-chairs. That's going to be using as a base the presentation that we took on our roadshow when we went around to all of your councils last summer, so we can kind of have a reminder, this is where we've come from. An executive summary based off of that presentation, so they have a handout, and then some sort of infographic with some of the key data points, so it's easy to look at. So those are materials we created to go with those meetings that start up in March. We've also, I shouldn't say me, it's not me, it's Polk Soil and Water. I shouldn't take credit for their work. But a couple of trainings that are already scheduled to help smooth the implementation of new standards, both for city staff as well as for design engineers. There will be others, I'm sure, that will be scheduled, right? Correct? She's nodding her head at me. Well, what I wanted to spend a little bit of time on is, as I mentioned at the beginning, kind of peer sharing, peer reviewing, because at some point, we get through all those meetings that I listed, where the materials created. At some point, it then becomes, okay, how are we going to now take this forward to your individual city councils? And that might be, we take things to a city council or a subcommittee, it goes to a workshop, and then we go on to the city council. And the question is, well, what is kind of planning for that? But also, in addition to any of those materials, which could be tweaked, modified for your situation, but what sort of assistance would you be looking for from Capital Crossroads, Polk Soil and Water tools, or anything like that to take things forward? So I'm going to turn the floor over to some of you to kind of share what your at least tentative plans might be. You might not have it completely firmed up, but just start thinking about that. Well, Kristen, since you had a lot to share before.
Seems like fair. We have a 5-member council, and 3 of those members are new this January. So they were not there when we did the previous presentation on this issue last year. They seem fairly supportive of stormwater concerns, so I guess I anticipated they'll be supportive of this, but it's fairly new for them. So our plan right now is to take it to like a lunch and learn either in April or May. Lunch and learns are going to be pretty busy the next couple of months because we do have new council members. And then, so it'll probably be in the spring, early summer before we really get this to council for approval. I think it'll take a little time, obviously, to some words that need to just get it to reconcile with our code. So that's our tentative plan at the moment. It's kind of aiming for that April, May timeframe to get them up to speed and then get the ordinance.
So a little education for the council along the way. And I do realize that there are, with many of you, have some new council members from when we came through before.
But I think it will be helpful to have a presentation that's kind of standardized for everybody. I think it will be helpful to kind of keep tabs on who has approved it and what their final document looks like. I think that helps. I know in the past our council's been very much, well, what did other cities do? Did they already approve this, whatever? And if I can say, well, X, Y, and Z have already approved it and it's gone through, I think that helps in the smooth.
Well, and I should have mentioned, you just inadvertently reminded me, but that series of meetings that I put up there, one of the tasks that we've been directed by the tri-chairs is to keep tabs on the cities that attend to those, so that if there happens to be a city that misses every single one of them, that we can make sure that we do an individual reach out. Would it be helpful with having kind of that presentation if I were to basically have a meeting with you ahead of where you would be going, just like we did before, where I bring and say, here's kind of what the presentation is, how should we change this? Or should I just give it to you and let you go?
Maybe at this point,
Because I'm not presenting it.
right. At this point, I think maybe just knowing what other cities have seen, I think is
Okay.
a helpful thing. Having that starting framework to say, this is the same message that's going out to everybody. I think that'll be helpful.
Okay. Yeah, and before we have that finalized, it will undergo review from the mayors on the tri-chairs as well as the city managers, et cetera. So it's not just going to be something I can involved. It's gonna... What about any others? I just want you to start thinking. Yeah, Jim?
Yeah, I mean, we're in a very similar situation as Urbandale because since we started this process, we got 4 out of 5 new council members. And so,
Well, we're on our third Capital Crossroads director too.
so yes, it's going to be an education process for us, but I think everybody's very in tune to a lot of the stormwater issues that are going on around the communities, and so we need to do our education. But we don't have election burdens. We call them work sessions that we have prior to our regular city council meetings. So my guess is, we could do it anytime after March, after we get through all of our budget public hearings. So by April, beyond that, we would be ready to take it to a work session and then bring it back to a council meeting for consideration.
And hopefully with Mylog, MPO, and MAC, that there will be some elected officials that have been exposed.
Oh, definitely. Our council members are very active in all this. So.
Reed?
Kind of walking be in the same boat, maybe a little sooner than that. I'm already on the agenda for the February work session with council members. Same boat, 2 out of the 5 are new council members this year, so a little bit of education piece, but I certainly don't want to have to create all the materials ahead of time if the effort's going to be put forth and to make sure it's consistent. That's what I would look for. So if it's March, then so be it. But we're ready to move forward as collectively as the natural.
And our little planning group, we're scheduled to start creating presentations tomorrow, so we'll start getting drafts out. Because we realize that even though on our schedule, our next meeting really is Mylog in March, we need to meet with tri-chairs prior to that with enough time that we can make edits for it. So we'll start shooting out things. So thank you. Anybody else?
I guess the city of Des Moines, we haven't probably given a whole lot of thought about the scheduling of this, but I know key trigger is probably when you meet with the city manager. I know Scott has been asking us about it after he gets updates, either the written updates from you or whatever else he's getting as far as that goes, and kind of how it's going, where's that. We did just update our zoning, planning, and design ordinance at the end of last year, which some of the old requirements were kind of codified there a little bit, so we have to make a decision. Are we updating that just got approved, or are we writing a new ordinance that kind of covers this? So a decision there, and then legal's always going to have their say, so they'll rip it apart and probably look a little bit different, but some of those things. Try to keep it as consistent as we can, and then council works on that so we can do a little more education. I know Mr. Swanson was saying at least one of our council members has come out moderately opposed to changes like this, but I don't know if that's their background, being a realtor, or those sort of changes that affect things with that. We do have one new council member, I believe, but most of the rest I think have probably been around when this got kicked off. So I don't think there's going to be a lot of re-education that needs to get done. Most of them, but kind of, or new education, but some re-education reminder of kind of what was there.
Sure. Well, and the letters that have gone out after each of our sessions, the intent has been that at least hopefully when this does come to your councils, it's not 100% brand new. That there's some familiarity with it, but I kind of think as staff, they're not going to go into all of the language. They're going to be reliant on.
No, but are they going to come and ask some of those questions which we didn't really answer, like the developers were asking a little bit, what's the cost, per lot or something? This is going to have impact on that. But we can't really answer anything as far as what this is going to be, because the goal of this was to do this, metro-wide, so that it's kind of a moot point. So, I mean, unless I missed something, that was not
Yeah.
something we had really analyzed.
Something that actually this afternoon, Craig sent over to me, because he took a look at, said, okay, for every 100 acres of development going from current standards to what's being proposed, may require between 0.4
4 and an acre and a half.
of additional land, variance depending upon site characteristics and what the land use is. But to try to give some sort of range to put into some sort of concept of, well, what does it mean on the ground? Because I would be asking the same kinds of questions. I've said repeatedly, you can talk to me about curve numbers all day long, I have no idea what you're talking about.
And that was based on some of those analysis we did 2 meetings ago.
Right.
When we
I
were
remember
talking about
that.
real number
Yep.
comparison, so just looked at the area of land that would impact.
But it's not going to be, it is X, it is something like this.
It's just a little squishy range, yeah.
Does anybody else have anything? Because, again, you're not all going to be the same, but I want you to start thinking about this, because there does come that point that Capital Crossroads drops off.
West Des Moines, these are, I look at these as design standard changes. I don't look at them as necessarily code changes. I mean, we're showing this as an ordinance, but our design standards are adopted through our code. So that gives us a little more flexibility to be able to change things, and we don't have to go through an entire ordinance change if we need something tweaked. So I guess,
And you'll know, this is not written in ordinance.
no, yeah, and
Yeah.
that's,
But we've talked about it that way.
right, and I'm just saying that that's how we plan to move forward, or at least that's my vision. I'll talk over the rest of the staff and see what their thoughts are, but that's kind of what we've discussed so far.
You know, and one other thing I'd ask for all of you, if you could share with us, because we're aware of 1 or 2 maybe developments that are current developments that are going in, that are already meeting what's being proposed. So any sort of those stories that we can share, I think would be helpful too.
Frank, this is, the timing overall is pretty good because we're just rolling out of a stormwater study for the overall city. And so it's at the forefront of people's minds. I think it's gonna take though, getting through our budget process in February and March here because of all the work sessions. Because I think this is gonna take at least 1 work session to talk through because, development they're gonna be in our council members' ears if they see that this is gonna cost them more, be more restrictive. And I think to some degree it might, but it's gonna be, in my opinion, minimal. And I think overall it's a good thing, but I think April, May, June is the general number.
I would not expect any of you to do anything before your budget season is done yet. It's kind of why we have the schedule that we've got. Chris?
I can add to that too. And I would just say, like, our mayor is one of the tri-chairs, so she's definitely going to be, she's very, has approved this and has already talked about it at our last workshop. Actually, staff presented, because we've been looking at raising our stormwater utility, we have the lowest stormwater utility metric of $3. And so staff has kind of came up with a plan with that, and they basically told us that we can't do anything as far as raising our utility unless we have the actual standards to bring up the quality of our stormwater requirements. So they want to see something soon. So our biggest process right now is to kind of work with our engineering consultants, Snyder, and kind of come up with what it's going to look like in our plan to be able to present to council and get it approved. But I think there's going to be a lot of education going on the staff side. Council seems to be pretty happy.
And I would ask you, if there are some of you that are running ahead of what our laid out schedule is, kind of as you're going through that, share your experiences with us, because that will help us with others. Well, as always, I'll get a synopsis typed up and sent out so we can remember what did we talk about. Greg's notes are invaluable to me, to help remember what we talked about and make changes. We'll get those documents edited sooner rather than later, so that we can really turn our attention over the next couple of weeks to getting prepared for the meetings that we've got scheduled, as well as the unscheduled council meetings, so we can get ourselves ready for that and getting tools and materials in your hands. I really do want to thank all of you for all of the time that you've put in, not only here, but also back at your cities with staff and talking with different people about this, because this has far and away exceeded all previous capital crossroads projects. Like I said, we're almost 2 years in. We're on our second city council liaison, and we are on our third capital crossroads director that stretched back over this whole project. So again, thank you, everybody. We'll get things, video loaded up. I'll get the documents put up into the Google Drive. We'll include the links to that. And if you noticed, or maybe you haven't noticed, but in the letters that have gone out to your city managers and mayors, I have been including links to all of the documents that have been reviewed all along the way.